talk you through it. Okay, my name is Melissa Cahoon. I'm the area manager for our University Park Division and our KPP Division. I also have Brett Blanchett, Colton, and Cindy with me today, so they're passing out some of the information. So the reason that I'm here today is Aqua filed a case with the ICC, and I wanted to get some information on that. So all the residents should have received a public notice in their bill recently, and a lot of the reason behind the filing is because of our University Park pipeline. So you should have also received a flyer in the mail, which explains the pipeline that we're installing. And basically what the pipeline is going to do is bring softened water to University Park. We're going to take the water from our Kankakee water treatment plant and bring it out here to University Park. So here's the timeline for the pipeline that we've been working on. We actually started the work in 2013, which it doesn't show, but we finished our feasibility study in 2013. So you can see this has been something we've been working on for many years now. So you can kind of look through there at some of the different deadlines that we've had. But basically, we started construction last year in October of 2016, and the pipeline will be completed by the end of this year. So the University Park residents will have softened water by the end of this year. So some of the capital investments that is behind the rate filing that we just did. So we filed a rate case with the ICC to recover the capital spending that we've done from 2013 to 2018, which is $30 million of spending in University Park. So some of the capital projects that we've done are obviously the University Park pipeline, which I just spoke to. So we recently just won an award for the best tasting water in Illinois. So the entire state, we won the best tasting water out of our KPP water treatment plant. So the guys at the plant and all of our staff do a really great job, and they take a lot of pride in the work that we do. So not only is it the plant, but it's also the pipeline and the infrastructure that goes and contributes to that best tasting water that we have. When the softened water does arrive to University Park, iron levels are going to be reduced by 90% and hardness by 70%. So I'm going to have a slide that shows some of these numbers. That's going to make a huge difference in the water quality that you feel and the scaling that some people experience on their appliances. We've also done a lot of wastewater treatment plant improvements. So the reasoning behind that is we always want to increase our efficiency at that plant, and we want to always improve safety. There's also IEPA regulations that go behind the investment that we make at our wastewater treatment plant. Lift station improvements are another big one that we invest in, and that's to reduce the potential for backups in the system. And then I&I, which we call infiltration and inflow reduction projects. So that's going to eliminate the overload of the system. And again, a lot of that is to reduce, people experience basement backups. So the investment that we're doing is going to eliminate those backups that we have in the system. We also do a lot of wastewater and water main replacement projects, and all of those are going to improve reliability. They're also going to improve the quality of the water, and they're going to improve fire protection on the water main replacement side. We're going to invest a lot of money in water meter and radio read device replacements and upgrades, and this is going to increase the reading efficiency that we have. It's going to reduce estimated bills and make sure that we're giving accurate readings when we do the billing. And then it's also related to the Kankakee water treatment plant, so we're doing an expansion at our water treatment plant, and the expansion is to improve reliability, meet IEPA regulations, and it's going to allow for growth and development. And so with the capital investment, there's over $5.36 of investment for every dollar of revenue that's generated. So the industry average is $3.35. So you can see a lot of the money that we're investing is going towards that capital investment in the system. So our operating and maintenance expense, this is not related to the capital or the infrastructure improvements that we do. This is just our O&M expense. So we've been able to hold those to an average of 0.7% annually. And a lot of that's due to savings in our electric supply. If you look a little bit down, we locked in our supply rate for 2020, and it's about 4 cents per kilowatt hour. Interest, we refinanced and lowered our rates and transportation costs. We have an O&M expense per customer of about $285, and our O&M to revenue is 30%, which means we're putting back 70% into the infrastructure improvements. That's your water main, that's all the capital investment that we're doing. And then since we do have a lot of our money going to that capital, more of the customer bill is supporting that capital investment. This next slide is just a picture of the pipeline. So we took a picture of the pipeline that's going in, and just to kind of show you the scope of the work that we're doing.
And that's going on down right.
It is. Now this slide is going to be really hard to see, but it's probably the most important one I have up here. It's got a lot of data in it. So this is the water quality comparison. So you can see at the top, it has MCL, which is maximum contaminant level. So those are just your IEPA regulations and the limits that you have to meet. And then the next 5 columns are the wells in University Park that we pull from to supply water to the community. The ones that are highlighted, the first one is hardness. And basically, I'll read the numbers to you since they're hard to see. For well 1, it's 410, well 2, it's 416, well 3, 530, well 6 is 669, and well 7 is 422. So you can see the hardness levels are really high compared to Kankakee Water Treatment Plant, which averages about 175. So your hardness is your calcium and magnesium. So again, that's the scale that you see in the water and the buildup. The next one is TDS, which is total dissolved solids. Again, the numbers range from 400 to 700. At the Kankakee plant, it's 230. Total dissolved solids are chloride, sodium, potassium. And then again, that's going to contribute to scale that you experience. And then the other big one is iron. So iron in the University Park wells ranges from 0.77 to about 0.41. In Kankakee, it goes down to a 0.06. So the iron is it's orange water. So you might experience an orange ring in the toilet. That's going to be eliminated. So the softened water that you'll get from Kankakee is going to eliminate all that. All right, so here's a sample customer bill. I'm going to go through some of the rates that are going to change now. So the average customer bill in University Park is currently about 4,500 gallons per month. So the average customer is going to experience an increase in their bill of about $38.95 per month, which is about $1.30 per day.
That's ridiculous.
So when you break it down, you're paying approximately 1 cent per gallon for drinking water, and you're paying approximately 2 cents per gallon for treated sewer. Now, some of the things that you can do to offset the increase in the bill is, if people are buying water softeners, I hear a lot of complaints about water softeners. So you can do a lot of investments depending on what you want on a water softener. You can spend anywhere at like a lower cost water softener is about $500. You can spend several $1,000s on a water softener. You will not need that any longer.
Sure.
Yes, you will not. I live in Kankakee. I get the water in Kankakee, so I've been there for 16 years and I've never had a softener.
So how do you get rid of it?
It's softened at the treatment plant, so different treatment system than a well system. You can also eliminate the salt that you're purchasing for that water softener, so maybe $15 to $20 a month. And then I hear almost from every customer that they're buying bottled water. So you will not have to buy bottled water. I do not buy bottled water. I never have. So there are quite a bit of ways to offset that bill increase. This is a handout that I believe everybody should have received. Again, this is another hard one to see, but basically it kind of breaks everything down. So average customer uses about 4,500 gallons of water. That's based on a family of 3. If you live in an apartment and you're single, you're obviously going to use a lot less water, so that bill impact is going to be a little bit different. So for example, in a single occupied unit, you might use 1,300 gallons of water, and the rate impact that you would feel based on what we file is $12.93. So you would not feel that $38 increase, and it's just going to depend upon your usage. And you can kind of look through those different breakdowns that we did. So we did a single occupied unit, a couple, family of 2, family of 3, and a family of 4.
How would you know about the families in each house?
This is just based on average usage, so it's just a calculation that we did. So if you look at your bill right now, it'll tell you what your usage is. So if you go home and look at your usage, you can compare it to this sheet, and you'll know what impact that you'll feel. One of the other things that we did with the rate filing is we consolidated the whole state. So if we had not done that, University Park residents would feel an increase of $58.82 per month. So by consolidating the entire state, there's a lot of cost efficiencies that were recognized. And again, if we hadn't consolidated, it would be nearly $20 more per month than what we requested. Another thing that's going to happen when the case is approved, it's going to take about a year to approve. So rates aren't going to go into effect until next year. So you will have the softened water before these rates go into effect. And when the rates go into effect, there's a surcharge on the bill right now, which is called the Qualifying Infrastructure Plant Surcharge. That's going to go to 0%. The May 1st, we filed on May 1st, and again, that covers the period of 2013 to 2018, which was about $30 million of investment. And again, it's about a year to get approved by the ICC. This slide is a comparison of different villages. So another thing that's requested is, hey, what do other villages pay? So you can kind of see what other areas are paid. Very comparable is Park Forest. So Park Forest is actually a well system with higher rates. They're pretty comparable to what we'll put into effect. And they put in a big lime softening treatment plant, which is what we have in Kankakee. So in Kankakee, it's not well water, it's actually pulled from the river, it's pulled from the Kankakee River. And we have I call it a state-of-the-art facility. It's old, but we've done a lot of upgrades, we do a lot of investment. And it's operating 24/7. We're constantly monitoring the quality of that water. So it's a very different treatment process than a well system. So if you look at communities that have a well system without the treatment, without the lime softening, you're obviously going to find lower rates because the cost and investment isn't there. So that's why it's tough to compare communities unless you're comparing apples to apples. One of the other things that we did with the filing is we've had a lot of complaints on sewer in the summer months. So if you're a resident and you water a lot, you get hit on the sewer side of things. So what we did is we're saying, hey, we want to take the winter average and use the usage for the months of December through March to calculate the sewer bill, and then it would be that rate for the entire summer. The summer cap period is going to be billed the winter average or your actual usage. So it's going to be whatever is less. And I'm going to get to a slide which is going to help explain that a little bit better. If you do not have usage for all 4 of those months, which is the December through March, you're going to be billed a default usage, which is 4,500, which is that average usage, or the actual usage for the month, whichever one is less. And then during the months of November through April, you'll be billed for the actual usage. And another slide that's going to be tough to read. But basically, I'll explain this the best I can if you cannot see it. So for instance, if you have, for that winter measurement period, which is the months of December through March, if your average was 2,025 gallons, and then in the month of August, which is that summer period, you use 16,000 gallons of water, you're only billed for the 2,025 gallons, which is that winter average. However, if you use 1,000 gallons in the month of August, and your winter average is at 2,025, you would only be billed 1,000 gallons, because that's the amount that's less. Some of the other factors that are affecting rates right now and why we went in for a rate case are due to increased regulatory requirements. So requirements are always getting stricter, more strict. And so we are in charge of a cross-connection control enforcement program, which is basically backflow devices. We have to manage that. So there's a cost associated with managing that program. The other big part was the Illinois Commerce Commission put into effect what they called Part 280. So this affected the gas, electric, water, and sewer, any of your utilities. And I have a slide which is going to explain how that helps the customer. There's actually a lot of customer-friendly benefits of Part 280. The other factor affecting rates is conservation. So year after year, we actually see usage decline. People are using more energy-efficient devices or water-efficient devices. So it's declining by about 1.6 annually, and you can see that usage. In 2010, it was 5,142 gallons. Now in 2017, we see that average usage at about 4,500. And then this slide speaks to the program's Part 280, for Part 280. So Part 280 allowed for budget billing. So similar to NICOR, if you want to pay a set amount every month instead of having that bill fluctuate, you can call our customer service number and they can set you up for that. There's also payment arrangements that are available. We have waived penalties for low-income customers. And we're currently working on establishing a customer assistance plan, which would be funded by the customers. Again, similar to what NICOR would have in effect right now. And then 877 WTR Aqua is our customer service line that you can call to talk through those options. And then I always like to kind of finish with this slide. So this is Aqua's goals. We always want to provide a quality product and a quality service. We want to make sure all the investment that we're doing, we're looking at making sure we're improving the reliability of our system. We want to make sure we're improving water quality. So some of the mains that we replace they're small mains. And when you have small mains, you get buildup and usually poor water quality. So that's one of the things we'll do to improve water quality. And again, the pipeline that we're obviously bringing here to bring the softened water to University Park. We want to enhance fire protection, and we want to make sure that we're not estimating bills. So estimated bills, if you look at your bill, you will actually know if it's estimated. You'll see an A or an E. If you see an E, I would call our customer service number to get an actual read for that account. We want to make sure we're providing quality jobs. Another thing we do is a lot of public education on our river watershed. So I know the Community Fest was mentioned. Aqua's going to have a booth there. I'll actually be there, and I'm going to have a whole booth set up on watershed protection. I'll have a lot of macroinvertebrates, so if you have kids who like bugs, I can talk to them about all the stuff that we find in the Kankakee River and why it's important and why it's a good indicator of water quality. We want to make sure we support economic development. So with a pipeline, we're obviously going to bring a softened water to University Park, which is going to help with economic development. A lot of the industries right now have to do a lot of pre-treatment. That's a deterrent to industries and businesses coming here because that's a huge cost that they have to incur to soften that water. And we always want to make sure we're continuously investing in the county. So that's it. So if you guys have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
When you say that you see the A or E for estimate on the bill, if you see that, and I've seen that quite some months, how much month would you reimburse back estimate bill just in case it's more than what you're paying out?
It depends on how it estimates, so it can either estimate high or low. So you may be paying less, which is a disservice to the customer too, because when it finally gets an actual read, it's gonna catch up and it's gonna bill you higher, which makes people angry. Or it can estimate high, which also makes people angry. So again, we wanna make sure we're getting actual reads, and those equipment upgrades that we're doing are gonna help eliminate those estimated reads.
Okay, so the ones with, say, in-home, far as the, water softeners. So our bill would go up $50 per month, and you'll say my bill is running like $92 a month, and it'll go up $50 extra once the system starts.
So you have about an average bill right now, if you're running about 92, so your bill would go up about $38, $39.
Yeah, so with this water softener, I could bypass my softener.
I would bypass the softener. One of the things we see with softeners too, another issue that I know Cindy can speak to, people get a high bill and they'll call us and we'll go out and look at it. Sometimes the softener just gets stuck, it's regenerating and it's constantly running water through it. So I would bypass that softener, get rid of it, I would not use it.
I could bypass the osmosis system.
Absolutely.
Does the $30 million that you were mentioning earlier that was gonna be recovered, I'm asking, is that over some years and who's it gonna be primarily recovered from? And then will you be replacing the current water mains? I know you got the pipeline coming in, bringing the water, but the water that we had the bad water running through, and I'm sure there's buildup in there. Will you be replacing them or cleaning them out, or what will you be doing to the current structure?
So we're always going to invest in the mains. We're always going to replace mains, and we're going to do those capital upgrades. To replace an entire system would be astronomical. We cannot do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to clean. So we're going to clean them, we're going to flush them, and we're going to clean out that buildup that's in the pipes right now.
So is that already included in 30 million or not? Yeah.
The cleaning out of the pipes? No, that's just something we would do. That's just our O&M cost. So that's our operation and maintenance.
Let me add a little bit to that. So there's about $13 million a year that I would invest in our systems, replacing mains, just like you're saying, in our normal program. That's revenue neutral, right? It's depreciation on our system that the customers are already paying for, right? And so you're right. Some of that is annual depreciation. Some of it's extra investment, like this pipeline and other special projects that we do. And so a good thing I think about is we're spending $30 million here in University Park for the benefit of customers here. But a lot of that's going to get spread throughout the whole state, as she mentioned, right? If we recovered all that investment just here, it would be like $60 or more a month more already paying. And so that's one of the advantages of a statewide utility, is that that is spread all across the state. Just like NICOR or ComEd does when they come fix a transformer in front of your house, they don't say you go for it, right? They recover their rates across the state. And so this would be very similar.
So when you clean the system and somehow the pipes all break or whatever, the cleaning, would you replace everything or whatever? Whatever you would do?
So when we flush, we can have a water main break and we would fix that. Now the pipes aren't going to break, so when we flush, we'll do a notification. We'll notify the residents because in any system, even in Kankakee, if we're flushing or you have a street sweeper pulling from a fire hydrant, it stirs up the system and it can cause discoloration. So we would do what we call a Swift Reach campaign. And you may have got a notice for that, and I would highly recommend that every resident sign up. It's called Water Smart Alerts. You can go onto our website and register for that service. If there's a water main break and you lose service, we're going to notify you, because then a boil water order would go into effect. If we're doing flushing, we're going to make that phone call. We're going to notify you that, hey, we're flushing the system. There could be potential discoloration.
So we can't get away. So how many pipes you got? How many pipes you got?
We're going to bring one pipe to University Park.
Sorry.
Yes.
And this pipe that you push, in terms of what are they made out of?
The pipe here, they're probably all ductile iron.
Or cast iron. Older ones probably cast iron, but University Park isn't that old, right? The town itself was what, constructed in the late 70s, all of it pretty much was. So it's all, a lot of it's probably ductile, right? Most of it probably.
So you don't flush it.
Yeah.
No, we do flush.
So all the rust in the water becomes.
Yep.
It'll clean it out. There may be a buildup, so we flush every year.
Part of the program, part of bringing in this new, part of the program bringing in this new water, right, as we're bringing the new water, we really have to flush the whole system out as a part of that. So we have a whole program, and we'll communicate to you on what you can expect from that. There's likely to be a period during this heavy flushing where it's going to get maybe a little bit discolored, right? But then after that, we follow with the nice new water, and things will be much, much better after that. But we'll roll it out to you and explain it as it comes, so that everybody's very clear on what's going to happen.
I got a great suggestion. Have y'all listened to any grants or anything, you know, with all these high water bills that we've been paying over the years? And we've been replacing pipes, we've been replacing water tanks and all of this because of this bad water that we have.
Grants, we don't qualify for grants, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so there really isn't a lot of grant money out there for anybody, municipalities, private utilities, whatever it might be. I think one difference between Aqua and what some of the communities are that Melissa mentioned up there where their rates are a little bit higher is that you know, a lot of times municipalities will supplement their rates with other forms of revenue, like tax dollars and things like that. Other burdens on the municipality. In this case here, all the revenue to support our system comes from the customers who pay it, which is not a burden on your municipality, which from listening tonight is probably welcome, right? Unfortunately, what it means is that all the costs really are covered, and so rates have to go up when we do improvements. And certainly when we bring the water from Kankakee here, the cost has to reflect it, right? Now the good thing is you won't pay any more than the customers are paying in Kankakee, right? You pay the exact same amount as what you'll be paying for the same water.
Yes, that was one of the things that I had spoke about when we were doing this pipeline project. I had always said, hey, University Park will pay the exact same rates that our Kankakee residents that I paid at this time. So everybody's gonna pay the same amount for the same water that's coming from the treatment plant.
I had a resident that said that we ought to not get water from the Kankakee, because supposedly all these poisons are coming into the river, and, you know, that we could get contaminated with water. Can you comment on that?
Yeah, so the Kankakee River, so I mentioned source water protection. So that's a big effort that we're very involved with. Kankakee has a lot of river protection groups that are set up. So Kankakee River is still one of the cleanest rivers in the Midwest. There's no industry. So basically what you have is agriculture along the Kankakee River. And we work pretty closely with our legislators right now because the biggest issue that we're gonna have is farm runoff. So we're working on legislation right now to kind of stop farmers from doing that, because what they do is they apply fertilizer in the winter months. They apply to frozen ground, then it thaws, maybe you get a rain, and it rushes right into that river. We do feel the impact at our water treatment plant, but again, we're working on that legislation to make sure that doesn't happen. We're actually working pretty closely with our local farmers right now, and they're doing what they're calling cover crops to reduce that runoff that's going into the river.
Could you go a little more in depth into how you know if there's an engineer here that works at the filtration plant, how the filtration plant takes care of the fertilizer or the runoff that comes from the agriculture?
So basically, it's a lime softening treatment plant. So we soften the water, so we feed lime, and then there are filters. So the final step and the final polishing of that treatment plant is filtration. So it's a 3-layer filter, which is going to take all those impurities out of the water. Any other questions?
Just a date that's gonna start December 31st. Right?
Yes, softened water will be here by the end of the year. And then rates would take effect in either March, beginning in April is probably when that rate case would be approved. Thank you for your time.
Excuse me.
Mayor? Not mayor. Mayor. Mayor? I'm sorry. Got comments?
Thank you.
Anyone has any additional questions? You have the website and the phone number, please feel free to contact her. Okay, at this time, I'd like to adjourn the meeting and go into executive session. So moved by trustee Wilson, second by trustee Williams. All in favor?